Citizens to address agenda items. These are non-agenda items, so we're moving on to the meeting. So I can speak after the meeting. Action motions. Discussion topics, updates to the code.
Yeah, I give the board information on updating the general zoning code, which contains all the ordinances for the township. For some reason in the past, the zoning was never codified into the G code, and kind of a standalone. And I had some issues when we amended, updating, because they only have a PDF copy on the action words, not a Word document. I would like to have the code updated to include the zoning and any current ordinances that we've passed since the last update.
I thought we had general code, weren't they doing those updates, John?
Yeah, well, we paid for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but
This is general code, the E code.
I'm saying, that you're saying you want them to update the current ordinances, aren't they already doing that? I thought they already did that, I thought that was part of what we, with the township, they, am I wrong? I mean,
We do, we have to send and get supplements done, and we submit the new ones, and then they update the E code, a printed copy, and this one is, the zoning's never been
Oh, okay.
modified as part of it,
okay, I see.
which I would like it to be added to some of the changes. The cost of that would be, not to exceed $6,600. That would include all other.
Put that, you want them to consider that for a future meeting for a motion?
Yeah, we've been given it to them before, and it's just, I know they really didn't discuss it, so I talked to Joel just to make sure that.
Yeah, first no objection, we just have our next, bill order of the agenda. Resolutions, motion to adopt resolution 2018-9, amending resolution 86, limiting the trust returns going to the Freedom Volunteer Fire Company.
Second. Comment, this is just a matter of housekeeping, I think we discussed it, last meeting or 2 meetings ago, this is just to properly change the loan that's been out there to reflect the current terms, so just a matter of housekeeping.
Question on the motion? Roll call vote?
Commissioner Simla?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Beckowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Blake?
Yes.
Commissioner Margaret?
Yes.
President Evans?
Yes. Motion to adopt resolution 2018-10, approve the emergency operations plan for Elizabeth Township.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call vote?
Commissioner Simla?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Beckowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Blake?
Yes.
Commissioner Margaret?
Yes.
President Evans?
Yes. Motion to approve the Commissioners' meeting minutes dated September 17th, 2018.
So moved.
Second. Question on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion to approve the general fund bill warrant dated October 15, 2018, in the amount of $231,307.62.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Simla?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Beckowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Blake?
Yes.
Commissioner Margaret?
Yes.
President Evans?
Yes. Motion to approve the sanitary fund bill warrant dated October 15, 2018, amount of $7,343.10.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion?
I do. I see, Brian isn't here this evening. Do we know why? This is 2 months in a row now.
He called saying he was sick, that's all I know.
I still think we ought to entertain a motion to get rid of him.
I don't think we should pay him, he sent no representative either. He's paid to come to the meeting, so if you need a motion, I'll make it.
His bill should be docked at least.
Roll call vote?
Commissioner Simla?
I guess.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Beckowitz?
No.
Commissioner Blake?
Yes.
Commissioner Margaret?
Yes.
President Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Simla?
No.
Motion to advertise the budget workshop meeting to be held Thursday, October 18th, 2018, at 4 p.m.
So moved.
I'll second it. Question on the motion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Simla?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Redwood?
Yes.
Commissioner Blake?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
Yes.
President Evans?
Yes. Motion to approve the amendment to loan repayment agreement with Elizabeth Township and agreement with Volunteer Fire Company.
So moved. Second.
Question on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion to approve one more payment amount of $126,660.50 made payable to B&Y loan for GOP Series 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Simla?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
No.
Commissioner Redwood?
Yes.
Commissioner Blake?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
Yes.
President Evans?
Yes. Motion to approve the 2017 audit prepared in accordance with the general accepted accountability accounting principles.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Simla?
No.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Redwood?
Did we get some explanation as to,
I haven't even seen.
yeah, I haven't either, so I don't know how I can approve something I haven't seen.
It's the same.
Thank you.
Did you hear me, Colin? It's the same draft you guys got in June.
Pardon me?
It's the same one you got in June. Nothing's changed on it.
Well, I wasn't happy with that, so I'll stay with it now.
I didn't hear for some things that she said, so I'm gonna cut that.
Commissioner Blake?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
I'd like to look at it before I vote on it. I mean, is that gonna be a problem? Because it wasn't in the packet, I just wasn't.
Rick just got it today. I have them all back here. She brought it in about 4 o'clock, but it's the exact same.
It's the exact same.
Nothing changed.
Yeah, okay, as long as, like I said, I haven't, but I'll vote yes as long as there's nothing changed, so I would. But that's continuing that nothing changed.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed, yes, okay, I'll vote yes.
President Evans?
Yes. Motion to approve the 2017 audit prepared in accordance with the DCED regulatory basis.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Simla?
No.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Redwood?
No.
Commissioner Blake?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
Yes.
President Evans?
Yes. Motion to approve the salary adjustment for Joel Whiteman to the office manager annual salary of $65,000 retroactive October 1st, 2018 with a performance review in 3 months.
So moved. Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Simla?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Redwood?
Yes.
Commissioner Blake?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
Yes.
President Evans?
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Motion to ratify approval of the payment amount of $154,550 to Groff Tractor, the new case 62621G will, delivered in accordance with the PA State Clean Diesel Grant. $38,650 will be reimbursed to the grant.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Simla?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Redwood?
Yes.
Commissioner Blake?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
Yes.
President Evans?
Yes. Motion to review the current medical plan design for 2018 through List Limited Service and executed agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Simla?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Redwood?
Yes.
Commissioner Blake?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
Yes.
President Evans?
Yes.
With the flooding and everything, we did meet requirements for small business administration, disaster loans. We put the information on our website and information here. We're gonna have a set up at Weston Library right now.
citizens address items, Bob Killian.
We're waiting for the engineer report for, I live on 304 going to drive, and the engineer came up and we haven't got any answer as to a solution to our problem.
I haven't gotten the engineer's report yet. I did send a violation out to them, because I haven't gotten the report yet. And actually, we just got a voicemail message from them on Sunday, and I have to get back in touch with them, at 303 Bench Shop.
Yeah.
But I gave them until November 9th to correct their situation. They're also saying there's another issue that is causing an issue there as well from a pool. I'm gonna meet up with them and try and see if pool can't be causing too much.
Yeah.
But I mentioned in their violation, the drains need to be relocated, tied into the stormwater system once or gravel pit, properly drain the water without it becoming a nuisance. So, but I have not yet gotten the report from the engineer.
Okay, but you did send it.
I did, just not to, to try to, this way's a little simple and a little vague, but,
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna read this, that you already sent in a violation.
yeah, they got it, and they called, left us the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, because the water is just, it's like a stream, like it comes down, so it's,
Yeah, they're gonna have to probably do a gravel pit, because it's gonna be kind of hard to get it to anywhere else. I mean, I talked to Jake, and I don't believe we have any storm lines running back through there on that side. So,
everybody must be tied into that storm pit.
I think most of the houses are originally tied to the front street, and when they redid the driveways, they took it out and just ran it back there, and now they're bringing it back, putting it. But the only other option they have is to really put it in gravel pit to, it should help, it may not necessarily always eliminate the problem depending upon the volume of rain. I've had a couple other this year that people that have trapped in, it can only hold so much.
Yeah. It just as long as it eliminates the problem.
It should lessen it, except for, you may still get some during really, really heavy torrential downpours, which I'm hoping are not the norm for us.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. Steve, Dink?
I'm here basically for the same thing, we just answered our question, and I appreciate it. I tried to do good last one. I'm not gonna say I apologize, because you and I, we know that I was coming here, but I'm glad you did a little bit of homework in the past month. I didn't hear from you. I told Rob I'd give you a chance, I gave you a chance, you come up with an answer tonight, I'm
I
satisfied.
read the route I had available, I still haven't gotten, I'm still waiting for the report that,
Okay. I
there's,
do believe what you say is true. I think there is part of the swimming pool behind us is an issue. But he has no drain lines. How would he drain that swimming pool unless he pumped it out into the front street? What's he gonna do? He lets it overflow. It's part of the problem also. Okay. All right, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Martha Evans?
Hi, my name's Martha Evans. I live at 100 State Street in Buena Vista. The reason I'm here is for flooding. Exactly 5 weeks ago today, we were flooded. My home is fine, but my property runs along Wildcat Creek. My backyard's back there. There's so much debris, mud, slush, people's garbage cans, trees, maybe 3 or 4 picnic tables. I need some help to clean it up. I have no idea who to contact. I confronted Mr. Husband 2 weeks ago. He said he would come down and look. I haven't heard from him yet. Then I do see him on Facebook, helping out Smithville. I appreciate that. But I can't get that out there. Our sewage department did come down and help me out with the line I put on the ground. But, who helps people in that situation with the flood? You know, I didn't have that.
Is it in the waterway? It's in the creek, actually?
It's
free?
like, it's all over my property. Because I've been in that area for 43 years. I was flooded in 96, but that was winter.
Yeah.
This is completely different. People don't know how that river runs and that Wildcat Creek. I knew it, I lived there.
Yeah, if it's out of the creek bed, if it's not in the waterway and it's on your property, unfortunately, you as the homeowner are probably responsible for its removal.
Oh,
If it's
no, I
on-
need some help. Come on, this is,
Martha, I did go down and look at it, you weren't out, but I was there.
no, you never even called me.
Yes, I did, and I did see
No,
it.
you didn't.
But
I'm
it's
not
not,
talking to you.
I don't care.
I need some help.
No, but it's not legal, it's not for a department on the private property to clean up.
Oh, well, you could call and told me. Thank you.
John Jarvis?
John Jarvis, I'm at 5733 Mead Street, adjacent to Dollar General property. You've heard me enough. I'm just looking for an update to find out what the status is.
So I had a conference call with the developer's attorney, made him aware of, first, I had the engineer review the subdivision land development ordinance, pointed out all the things that were deficient on the property, had the call with the developer's attorney, and then I sent them an email giving them 30 days to correct the deficiency. So that's not up until, I think, the first week of November, so I'm waiting to hear. He did say that he was going to follow up with Dollar General himself, because he actually represents the developer side of it. He was gonna follow up with Dollar General, although he did tell me they seem to be, they lack sort of quick response, is the way I'll put it. So, but obviously, if we don't get action by that 30-day time frame, John and I are gonna craft some notices and start the violation process, and then sort of escalate from there.
Okay. On the street, up on Main Street where the water ponds, and I have photos, I can send them, but right off the edge of the street, there's now I don't know, I'll call it a trench, probably a foot deep, and maybe 8 or 10 feet long, and the neighbor kids are out there riding their bicycles. Somebody's gonna get hurt in that now. And
Where is that at, along the street?
On Main Street, on the Dollar, right off it's where the water ponds, it's where the storm drain is. It's all pretty easy to see because there's a pipe that sticks out of the ground. It's also about 1.5 or 2 feet deep that a kid could fall in, but the trench right off the road, you don't see it because they don't cut the grass, but when the water was ponding, I went over to take a look at it, and it's at least a foot deep. If a car drops off of there, they're gonna damage their vehicle as well, trying to pass on the street, people are parking, and, that kind of
Jay,
thing.
can you take a look at that?
I'll take a look at it, but it should be something they fix them, because they didn't have catch basin. They tapped into it, I've seen a lot of damage they did, stuff, some of their repair they should do.
Yeah, but I agree, but we don't wanna leave a dangerous situation out there.
There's no catch basin
Just
there.
have, just,
Yeah.
There's a manhole.
There's a manhole, but the manhole is probably 2 feet above the street, so you're not gonna, it may be higher than that above the street, you're not gonna get any drainage. And there is no catch basin, so, it's definitely a dangerous spot for a vehicle or a kid or whatever, so it's just additional things that, because their lack of maintenance is not a problem, so. If you look at that, I would agree. Thanks.
thank you. Scott Taylor?
Good evening, Scott Taylor, 304 Mohawk. Just coming to talk about the Huntley Plutus site conditional use application that we briefly touched on last meeting. As discussed, we obviously got this, received this application, and I've done some reading through it, reviewing. And the primary concern I have is according to the project narrative. It notes in accordance with the Oil and Gas Ordinance 603. To my knowledge, our municipality does not allow for an application review process for formal acceptance to start the procedural time clock application according to this approval process. ordinances do strongly suggest a pre-permit conference to help mitigate potential problems, concerns. That being noted, is some of the concerns I had after reading through this. The entire page 2 of that narrative describes pending proposed ordinances. Was there a pre-permit conference called with you guys?
Not for, I don't believe so, not for this, no.
All
I
right.
have had a discussion about their attorney about that particular issue though. So because of the pending ordinance doctrine, which are you aware of that doctrine? So even if we haven't formally adopted an ordinance, if one is in the process, they can actually submit under a new ordinance for under the pending ordinance doctrine. The problem here though being that the pending ordinance, because it got sent back to the planning commission from these commissioners, hasn't gone through planning yet. So we don't know what planning is going to do. So there's, so whatever happens at planning, if planning approves the pending ordinance, then they're probably okay to submit under the new ordinance terms. But if planning declines to do that, then there could be other legal implications. So I haven't had that discussion with their attorney.
Well, please get right into the next question. Have we formally accepted or denied that application?
Yeah, nothing has been done at this point.
Nothing's been done. So,
It's been filed. We haven't done anything with it. It hasn't gone to planning yet. It's there for now.
according to that notice in the PA municipal planning, you have 30 days to respond to that one way or the other, correct?
I've had that discussion with their attorney as far as the timeline goes as well, so I'm aware of the issue. It's nothing for the township to be concerned about at this moment.
And I hope you're aware that the pending ordinance doctrine is not good under, land development, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this falls under land development.
Well, no, it falls under zoning. The ordinance, the oil and gas ordinance was part of our zoning amendment, so it falls under zoning.
It was land development.
Well, not until they submit a land development application when they actually start doing something.
That's what they want to do, develop land for a
Right,
fact.
next point.
All right, so you kind of answered some of this. I'm sure will they be required to resubmit?
That's gonna be their choice, or else it's gonna get denied, so, yeah.
Because as it sits right now, everything that they're asking for is not allowed under our ordinance, so it's kind of, what are we doing here?
Both sides of this are aware of it, so, yeah.
No dates have been set for review of planning at this
Not
point?
at this time, no.
Okay, one quick one, John was talking about the codification of our zoning ordinance. I think our oil and gas would also fall into that realm because that was reportedly codified against that, and since that wasn't done, that all needs to go at the same time.
Yeah, it's not well, it's sort of a standalone ordinance, but it is incorporated in this part of the
Part of the
zoning.
zoning, but it's not actually referenced.
It absolutely is, 1403.
But I mean.
Conditional
the oil-
use.
The oil and gas ordinance, operations ordinance,
Mhm.
it's part of zoning, but when they enacted that, they never incorporated the zoning into the eco. So the zoning ordinance is just kind of sitting here, and amendments are kind of sitting here.
Correct, but the oil and gas ordinance, chapter 10, section 6, whatever it is. If you look at it, it has all those little, whatever that symbol's called, the double SS, means it's codified against
Some
our
of the-
zoning
Some of
ordinance.
the other parts of it amended the original. And the zoning book shows the original lot and the amendments and changes. And it's not easy for me to.
Thank you.
Fred Bickerton.
I'm Fred Beckerton, 256 Lexington Drive. I want to check to see if anybody has done anything with the zoning violation investigation I requested. I brought these questions up about zoning violations back in September. Middle of September, I sent an email to everybody on the board, along with John and our solicitor, and Joel.
John and I had a discussion, and I directed John to go up and take a look at the property and give you an update as to what happened.
As of today, I have not been able to get up to the property. The driveway is blocked, prevent access.
I thought it was surprising.
Well, and that's part of the thing, I have to be legally present to view the violation, so until I can get up there and get that, chance to get up there,
and then maybe try and have a meeting, and maybe even incorporate you into the meeting to talk about what's going on there, whether it's pre-existing non-conforming issue, whether or not it's an actual violation, and then talk about sort of the process from there, so.
Well, my understanding is they were issued a business permit as a junkyard.
Alright.
They were issued a business permit as a junkyard.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? As a junkyard, I mean, they don't only have to comply with our ordinance, but they have to comply with the federal regulation 28 CFR
We don't enforce
2556.
federal regulations.
Pardon me?
We do not enforce federal regulations.
I believe if we look at our ordinance, we reference those, that they have.
We
to
reference
comply.
it, but we don't enforce.
Should we not have records? Well, it's obvious, under our right to know, we didn't find any records of any inspections. So how do we know that they're complying with these laws?
I can't find records for many things from the past, unfortunately.
Well, we know that they were issued a new permit for a junkyard in 2017. In
Correct.
2018, pardon me?
Yeah, that was the time that I instituted this software.
At that time, we should,
Computerized.
we should have had an inspection of it at that time.
I mean, really, Fred, as you made it, like, as the code enforcement, as the township, we can expect anyhow. I mean, it's not just when a permit's issued, so the real issue being, and that's why I wanted to have John go up there and try and take a picture, because really, if there is something going on, I don't think anyone's trying, like, at least I know from my office, we certainly don't want to ignore a violation. If something's going on, they should be cited, just like everybody else that's in this township, right? So if you're pointing out stuff that's wrong, I want it investigated, and we have to decide what to do. The problem is, until John can get up there and take a look at it, we don't know whether there's violations or not. So we certainly want to enforce it. As soon as John can get up there, we can get the pictures.
So
we
what
can
did he do to
investigate.
get up there?
I don't know how it's blocked. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
What did he do to get up there?
I'm gonna try to see if he can get that truck moved. It's at the very bottom, and that's a really long drive up to the, you're familiar with it. Yeah, it's blocked at the very bottom. I can just keep vehicles and everything else coming right now.
Does anyone complain about it? I'm just curious. Like, has anybody ever filed a complaint? No?
So the only complaint I've had with the property was last week, some questions about a piece of equipment being down there, moving some brush and stuff, and myself and Sergeant Simmons went down, and it's, lower alongside the driveway, there's an old roadway, and an old scale house back there. They had a bulldozer early, just clear out the roadway, and so the trail could do a landslide, and let them there, they were clear about the trail.
Thank you. There's no other business before this board, motion to adjourn.
I don't read the house anymore.
Okay, just sign it.
I go to the state and the feds and. That's all. It's licensed as a junkyard, you heard it.
My name is Sherry Ludwig. I live at 200 Long Street here in Elizabeth. I'm here regarding the flooding issue, more directly the sewage. Every time we have a heavy downpour, unfortunately, it backs up into my basement. We just found out about a little over 7 months ago that it is sewage. It's raw sewage. I have been in contact with Bill. Well, last phone call I made was September 28th. He's not returning my calls. I have a newspaper from the very first time I was flooded back in July 2013. This has been an ongoing chronic issue. It's actually progressive, getting worse. This year and last year I've been flooded 4 times. When I say flooded, I consider anything over 3 foot. Everything in my basement was 12 inches off the floor. I can no longer put anything in my basement anymore. In the past 5 years, I've lost 3 washers, 2 dryers. This year alone, I've missed 65 hours of work just because it's flooding. We did find out that it was a sewage problem on September 9th. I had 5 foot of water in the fire department. On September 10th, I had 6 foot of water in the fire department. Fire department shut my power and gas off because of the safety issue, because of the water coming up so fast. They did witness the water gushing up through my drains in my basement. They called the sewage department, said, you need to get down here, you need to see this woman's basement, you need to see what's going on. They did. two gentlemen from the sewage department came in, they called their boss Bill and said, this is absolutely a sewage problem, you need to get down here. This is absolutely all sewage in here. Once everything was drained, we were evacuated from the house because of this problem. My house, the house across from me, and the house next to me, they call us the trifecta. Every time we get a heavy downpour, the fire calls and they go, there she is. They come down, my house fills up first, then the house across the street from me, then the house next to me starts. I have learned since then, my house is one of the lowest points from the sewage department. When we do get these unexpected downpours and all the main drains start coming down, they go down to the river, which is past my house. Unfortunately, my house is the lowest point. My house fills up first as this stuff is on the way down to the river. Then it hits us all the time.
What is your address?
200 Long Street. KLH Engineering firm was, pardon me?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is the engineer.
Oh, yes, they were there.
Me and Ron were down there a few weeks ago, and also, Billy from the building was down there as well. He said-
Do you have a check
Yeah.
valve or a backflow preventer? Did they-
No, that was we do not have that. When this started 5 years ago, my first notice was the storm drains. I looked out my kitchen window, you have observed, and I have pictures of how high my hedges were. There was over a 6-foot geyser coming out of the drain basins. I was like, oh my God, that's when we first noticed it. Okay, this is a continued problem. I have rocks, debris, mud, sludge. I brought a bucket, it's now dry. But that's a little sample of what I have to clean out of my basement every time this happens. There's also human waste, which I have photos on my phone on my basement floor, and also pictures of that stuff when it's wet. These are photos here from the 2013 flood. I lost everything in my basement, everything. I can't use the rooms down there. It just expense money. They did recommend a backflow valve, okay? My problem is I have not heard from Bill. I've called, not returned calls. He assured me that I would be on board with everything that was going on as and when it would happen. We don't even know the last time the storm drains were cleaned. We were told after the flood in June. September was the 4th flood that I suffered with damage. The storm drains have not been cleaned. I can't give an answer of who's to clean them and when they were last cleaned. No one can tell me that. You know, not only do I have mud, I have asphalt that flew up through my drains. I have pictures of that. By now, my one drain in the back basement is clogged. Nothing will go down, nothing will come up. This stuff is still coming up out of the main drain. I don't think, I've also talked to the Allegheny Department of Health head plumbing inspector. They told me to talk to you guys or talk to the sewage department. If the backflow valve is placed in, it should be placed where the sewage department can maintain the backflow valve.
That's not typically how that, that's just.
But this is not, I understand it, but this is a chronic problem. I have thousands of dollars worth of damage and cost and loss. Just these 5 years. I've had 4 hot water tanks put in my house in 5 years. Hot water tanks last 10 years. I now have to have a furnace put in my house. This furnace is only 10 years old. The last 2 floods, it blew the motherboard.
I'm just telling you, like,
I
typically the way it
understand.
works, I'm not just talking here, I represent many municipalities. Typically, the way that it works is either the municipality will supply the check valve for the backflow preventer itself, and the homeowner is responsible for installation and then future maintenance. Or sometimes the municipality will go ahead and pay for the installation, but the homeowner is responsible for maintenance. I've never had a municipality where they're responsible for the maintenance.
When I talked to the Department of Health, that was their
Well, I'm just saying,
recommendation.
that may be.
Because it is a sewage problem.
I understand it, but it's also my understanding that like the maintenance of it is not like labor intensive. I think there's like a screen, I don't know, Brian.
Well, they can go bad, and in my understanding, a backflow valve prevents the water from coming when we have these heavy downpours to come into the house. When they go bad, it prevents stuff from going out of the house. I have been dealing with this for 5 years. We know what the problem is. There is a solution. I would like to get it fixed. I have been flooded in February, March, June, and September, just this year. The first year was one time. The second year was once. The third year it was twice. It is chronically getting worse. And like I said, I've been in this house for 11 years. I can't tell you the last time that I've witnessed the storm drains being cleaned. You can look at my phone, and you can see the rocks and debris that are in there. Like I said, I've incurred all these costs to have the drains unplugged, do the cleaning. The Salvation Army is nice enough to drop me off a cleaning bucket. I have to physically clean it myself.
Like the storm sewers and the sanitary sewers are
Yes.
separated, so really they shouldn't be related, other than the fact that there's infiltration obviously in the
Yes.
sanitary system, and The problem is that we get as much rain as we have, and this isn't just Elizabeth, this is all over.
I understand that, but this is a chronic
It
problem.
can't, no, I
also.
hear you, it's
Yeah.
because of the location, like you said, when you say to me, you're at the low point.
I'm at the lowest point.
That's the problem right there,
Yeah.
obviously, and there's people like over at Liberty, same thing, they come, they say, I'm at the low point, they're getting backed up. So the short answer is, the backflow preventer should stop that.
But I shouldn't have to, when it's not my fault that this is happening, it's not the homeowner's fault. It's, the sewage is backing up. I moved into this house in December of 2007. I never had a problem. We'd have some heavy rains, I'd get a few inches of the trickle in, something would seep in, nothing like this. It has annihilated everything I've had. I can't put anything in my basement. I have been going to the laundromat at $32 a week paying for this. You know, there's a solution to it. I don't think we should have to incur that expense. We're willing to put in a sump pump because that will go hand in hand with what's going on. I can deal with a couple inches. I'm getting tired of dealing with 12 or plus. Everything's 12 inches off the floor. I do 3 or plus feet of water every time we get these heavy downpours. You know, I work. I'm 55 years old. I work 2 jobs. I'm putting a kid through college. I'm taking care of my 82-year-old father. The first flood we had, my late husband is a deceased veteran. We lost all his Army stuff. I have a picture of it. It's on top of the Nicholas Dome. His Army truck. Do you know how hard it was for my kids to throw that Army truck away? I know this is not your problem, but it is mine, and I'm tired of dealing with it. I'm asking for help and answers. I can't take another flood, financially or emotionally. Like I said, this year alone, I've been 65 unpaid work hours. And as a single person, supporting a household, you know.
If I might, can I make a suggestion? Yeah, I just want to make a suggestion because I've talked to probably about 10 or 15 people that have the same problem that you're having.
I understand that.
Yeah, I wanna make
This is
more-
my problem.
I understand.
And I'm tired of generalizing it. Just like when that guy come down, all I heard about from the engineering guys when he was flooded. I have never experienced a flood until I moved into this house.
I understand. And, you know, I hear from people in Boston and all in the industry, people in the industry that have the problem. What I'm proposing is, I don't have any problem having the township supply the valve if the homeowner installs it and maintains it. That takes the liability off of us, and that helps you. If we supply you with a valve, would you be willing to have it installed and maintained?
I would have to talk to the homeowner. Yeah, you know, I could tell her, you know, it's
That's what I'll do. I work with Billy, I'll get in contact.
Yeah.
I mean,
She has to put a $3,000 furnace in my house right now because the furnace is completely shot. They had to, this is, like I said, 4 hot water tanks. I don't know what you know what a hot water tank costs, but they're not cheap.
Yeah.
4 and 5 years, I've lost 3 washing machines and 2 dryers. Add that up. I just bought a washer last May 2017 and a dryer in September 2017. Gone. And like I said, I can't keep doing this, and because it's a chronic issue and now it's a sewage, my renter's insurance isn't going to pay for this constantly because it's a chronic problem. They're not gonna keep shelling it out, or they'll drop me, or my rates will go up.
Yeah, I got talked to the engineer at the last meeting. He told me to buy one and to have it installed both. It's about $3,000.
Yeah.
I don't have any problems, like supplying it out and having you, if you could get someone to put it in for you and maintain it.
But that's at least a $1,500 job. The cheapest I could find around is anywhere from $1,500 to $1,700.
I
That's
raised
just to
it,
get it in there.
it's cheaper than a
It's cheaper than
$3,000
what, yeah,
furnace.
but, and she also has, the furnace is going in Saturday, we don't even have it in.
Yeah, we can do that.
Do that, check to see.
I'll work with Billy on that, I'll be down to talk.
Okay, I appreciate
I have no
that.
problem supplying the valve. I just don't want the liability of installing.
I'm not even asking for liability, if it's a valve that you install and the sewage department is their problem to maintain it. All they have to do is make sure it's working, make sure it's functioning. If it backs up or it's not letting water out of my house, or I start seeing a problem, I call them up and go, I don't know what's going on, but I got water backing up in my house, it's not raining. That means the backflow valve failed.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's some minimum maintenance. I think
Yeah,
it's
there's some,
free or
yeah, there's something like that, you know, and I can install a sump pump in my house. I'm willing to do whatever it takes on all of our parts. But just these past, since February, I have thousands of dollars in the hole because of this. And Elizabethboro Fire Department is the one that figured it out. So, and then every time it rains, we get everything out down. I got 12 fire departments, waste their time and energy, anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. They're at my house pumping raw sewage into my yard because they can't put it in the drains. When they put it in the sewer drains, guess what happens? It comes right back up into my house. So it's just, I'm just rotating that water. If not, we're putting it into my yard, so we're pumping raw sewage into my yard that I'm walking through.
Do we have your phone number?
I have, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
talk to Billy and get contact.
Yeah, I appreciate
Well,
that.
yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you.
Um, next meeting is November the fifth, and, it's the day before election day. And I hope, to see Commissioner Rogers at that meeting, okay?
I hope to see you too, Joel.
You will.
There's no other business for
We
this board.
have a meeting scheduled, like Thursday.
There's a bunch of meetings for
And I would like to change, and I'll tell you why, I can't be there, I go to class, it's required continuing education. So if we change it, if we can't, I can wait, any night, any day.
Any day that was.
Always any day is good for me, other than Thursday, because I go,
We already advertised the motion.
pardon me,
We already have advertised the motion, already voted on that.
can we cancel it?
You could do another motion to change that, I suppose.
No, you guys, I don't care.
Just make the
I'd like to be there, but
What time do you have to leave to go to class?
about 5:30, I have to drive the Parkway through Pittsburgh.
Okay.
That should get me a couple of grabs in itself. What's that, Joanne?
Okay, so you have to leave by 5. So,
Well, you know,
under the budget, if you're
before
ready to
5.
go to class,
I would
we'll
have
get
to
you
be-
out of there by 5 o'clock.
What?
I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Joanne, I have to be in Green Tree at 6. How can I be in Green Tree? You ever go to the turnpike? That's an hour and a half drive.
Can we up it to 3:30?
Forget it, forget it.
3:30 work? We have to change
Well, we
the
can
motion.
change the motion.
It's just a preliminary budget, though, I mean.
Yeah, it's just preliminary, just make the second
Three
meeting.
o'clock.
Just make the second meeting, I mean,
All
it's
right.
preliminary, you make the second.
Can we do 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
Is that?
I don't know, I can do 3 o'clock, I can do 4, I can,
Well, it's all right. It shouldn't be fun.
I mean,
I'm not trying to be.
yeah, I mean, I already have.
We already voted on it, just make the second meeting. That's okay. That work? No other business for this board, motion will adjourn. Second.